Our commencement speaker today, Daniel E. Walker, is a storyteller. In many different mediums, as a documentary filmmaker and producer, as an educator, an entrepreneur, scholar, and activist, Dr. Walker has told moving stories about the African American community and its rich heritage, about powerful, inspiring people who are making a difference today in so many people's lives. In addition to his achievements in these roles, Dr. Walker is also the force behind many urban and community partnerships that are providing more people with access to an education and a future. In other words, Dr. Walker is a creator of hope in places where, for various reasons, hope has been in short supply. His passion for social justice and his commitment to effecting positive changes is truly inspiring. Graduates, we are thrilled to have him join us today to address you as you prepare to go out into the world. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Dr. Daniel E. Walker.
Wait a minute. All right, we got this together. You know, you have to have, I always tell young people when they get ready to think about speaking someplace to make sure that you got all your stuff together. So I got my notes together, got my timer together to make sure I don't go over anything like that, and I got my people together, all right? And I say that, yes, there was a screaming right there. So first off, I want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the staff, and most importantly, the students here at Claremont Graduate University for choosing me as your commencement speaker. I'm also going to be getting an honorary doctorate, but the most important thing is for continuing to dream. Continuing to dream. Continuing to dream. See, today is a very special day for you. I remember 18 years ago, almost to the day, that I was sitting in the same seats as you. I was about to receive my doctorate from the University of Houston, and I thought about the distance that I had traveled to get to the doctorate. Standing here today, it's even more kind of daunting to me because I think about the distance that I've traveled to get to this place today. You see, I grew up about not even 20 miles east of here, in a little town called Fontana, California, here in the IE. There you go, give it up. Yeah, wait, first off, do this, you guys, I need to do this too. Would every graduate just exhale? Because you know, when it's all this stuff, you got to figure out if your mother's together. You got to figure out if your father's together. You got to figure out if your kids are together. You got to figure out all these things and if you're in the right line. And at a certain point, you just need to be able to soak in the moment. You made it. You did it. Give yourselves a hand. You all have had a journey to get here. Right? Some of you had a journey to get here today, right? Just to get your folk together. At a certain point, I just told everybody in my family, I'm going to the commencement. You worry about yourself later, okay? But the thing I was saying was, it's crazy when you think about distance. I said I grew up 20 miles from here in Fontana, California, on literally a dirt road. My mother had 4 of us before she was 26, and my oldest brother has never seen his father. My sister and I only had our father in our lives since we were 11 years old, and my youngest brother, the only person who I ever knew his father to live in the house with us, I have not seen in 32 years because he's been serving a life sentence for murder in the California Department of Corrections. We grew up on welfare where my mother, who was this entrepreneurial spirit, was going to Chaffey College, and she would come home and build bookshelves out of 2x4s and bricks. And on those bookshelves, I read Immanuel Kant before I was in college. I read John Locke. I read Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I read James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. All this from a welfare mother, as the press would say, who was pouring into us as children a belief that we could do anything in the world if we simply put our minds to it. That we could gain knowledge in any source or way if we simply wanted to. That on those bookshelves and with those bricks and 2x4s, she was telling us, just like you as graduates, that we could build on any sort of information or any sort of expertise or knowledge that we wanted to have, that there was no literal boundary or no barrier for us to get there. So 18 years ago, I'm sitting in the place, and today I'm sitting here thinking about how long and what the struggle was to get here. But I began to, when I was in your place, it was so crazy because I thought I had it all made when I got the doctorate. Oh my God, I thought I had it made. I thought I had it made because they said it was a terminal degree. Which meant I didn't have to go to school anymore, right? Terminal degree. It's over. No more school. I've been doing this since I was in Head Start. No more school. And the reality was that's only the beginning, right? But I had to find another sort of a learning. So I graduated, and you guys, for some of you guys who are going on the tenure track and want to become professors, I had it made. I had a job already lined up. They gave me a great research budget. The dean and the department chair loved what I was going to do, and everything was just yellow brick road on to see the wizards. You know what I mean? It was great. And then I was doing everything. I had the book deal signed, 4 articles already published by my first year as a tenure track professor at a Research One university. I mean, I had it made. And then I went to the barber shop. I was in Indiana. I worked at Bloomington at Indiana University. I went to the barber shop in Indianapolis. And at the barber shop, you guys, well, in case some of you guys haven't figured out, I'm an African American. Just because sometimes I speak and people don't know I'm black. So I want to make sure that people get that, okay, that I'm a black dude up here, right? So I bring certain stuff with me, all right? So I was in this barber shop, and everybody was talking, and the barber shop is a great place for politics and pop culture and just fun. And I realized that I couldn't communicate with anybody. I was sitting in the barber shop, but I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't communicate. What do you mean you couldn't talk? I was so full of theories. I was so full of surveys of literature. I was so full of defending my thesis that if someone asked me to pass the potato salad, I'd start with Foucault and postmodernism and how did that and what. No, I just want the potato salad, right? And it sent me into this spiral downward. I'm just being real with you. I had been a person who had been connected to my community. I had been a person who had been inspired by great artivists and as an undergraduate. I'd been inspired by this great mother. I'd been connected to community, but all of a sudden I didn't have a real connection. And I then ran. I ran. I thought that something was wrong with me. So I literally gave up the great job. And I began to be a professor at a community college. I literally left the job and no one could understand why I was leaving. And I was like, because I had to find myself. And I'm not saying that this is for everybody because it wasn't for me really when I think about it. And what I mean by that is I don't want to glorify it. After I made the decision, there were so many times that I regretted it. This was career suicide, people told me. I'd never have the ability to make the impact that I wanted to make and all the rest of these things. But when I got to a community college, something happened. Realized that it wasn't about my thesis statement. It was about the students walking in the door. It was about their own realities that they brought in. And I realized that it wasn't a terminal degree, but I still had a whole lot to learn. And by these students who came in, some of them literally 15-year-old whizzes who were there because they wanted to get advanced credit, to people who were 70 and 80 years old, whose time, meaning opportunity, meaning change had to come before they, as a woman of color, they, as a Muslim girl, they, as I, were able to walk into the doors of academia and pursue an education. They were all in the classroom. And I realized that the most important thing in the educational process is not to make the simple complex, but to make the complex simple. And then I began to think, yeah, I got it now because I'm on these two ends of the spectrum. One end, it's like I'm so doctorate that I'm what do they say, I have no earthly good, or now I'm really in the community. But I was still on ends of the spectrum, and I had to come up with the balance. And the balance came one day. I was going to the bathroom, and a student, an older African-American gentleman who was, give or take, almost 50 years old, who had come back to school, who was achieving all A's in class, who was an outstanding example of somebody coming back and making it happen. I walk into the bathroom. He's there with his shirt off, his toiletries lined up, a duffel bag on his left side, and he was washing himself up because he was living in his car. But I'm connecting with people. I'm doing the work because I'm going to save the world. And I realized that all this stuff was just stuff because I had never activated it with art. When I say art, I mean art meaning the spirit. See, somebody once said that man created music when he found words inappropriate to be able to address God. That in essence, you guys know the arts, when they get inside of you, it's that feeling you get where you don't know why, but you seem to kind of dance a little bit or you feel great. When it's that song that you hear that makes you, when it's that something. See, I was all about the letter and not the spirit. And so I had to go deep back into the art form that I knew best. And the art form that I grew up on was this thing called gospel music. And gospel music was all of the struggle, but also all of the hope and euphoria and possibilities. And I went and I found a practitioner who I thought could change the medium, who could change institutions. His name was Walter Hawkins. And most of you know his brother, Edwin Hawkins, for this song, Oh Happy Day, that many people sang in the 1960s. And for younger generations, Sister Act 2 is the song they sing to win the championship. All right, you got to put it together. But his brother is this guy named Walter Hawkins, who after that song came out, the church pushed them away because like campuses and institutions of higher learning, sometimes we think we know what we know, but we really don't want the community around. So the churches didn't really want everyday average people in there. They said they did, but they really didn't. They said they were there to help people, but they really weren't. So this guy created a church called Love Center. And Love Center was formerly a car lot. And he took that car lot and changed it into this church where he accepted people irregardless of their race, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their social orientation or sexual orientation, and even irrespective of their religion, because he was preaching love and not dogma. And out of that came this series of albums, and the most important was called Love Alive 2. And there's a song on there that changed everything for me. And the song is called Be Grateful. And the song just goes, God has not promised you sunshine. That's not the way it's got to be. But a little rain mixed with God's sunshine, just a little pain makes you appreciate the good times. So be grateful. Be grateful because there's someone else who's worse off than you. Be grateful because there's someone else who'd rather be in your shoes. Be grateful. And I know this sounds like something about an interpersonal struggle or one for you as graduates, but this is a message to universities and colleges and everything else about a transformational thing that can occur when we embrace the arts. Because the arts are the things that give us life, that give us purpose. The arts are the things, arts are prophetic because they allow us to stand in the present, but think about and give us a bellwether for the future. The arts are visionary. They allow us to be able to think of things that are not, visualize things that have not existed yet, and simply make them happen. And those are the things that bring us innovation in science, technology, social justice. Anything that you can think about all comes from someone believing something that is not and then working to make it happen. That is the arts. You can clap it up. If you can't, then maybe you need to go listen to a little bit of Be Grateful, all right? All right? And lastly, when we think about the arts is about our connection to humanity. All of this, whether it was the book side or whether it was the Daniel Walker missionary side, meant nothing if I was not making a true connection with the subjects that I say I'm trying to help or trying to study or trying to impact the people. So as you, the graduates of Claremont Graduate University, get ready to step out onto your destiny, the question becomes, will you allow yourself to go beyond the boundaries of your discipline? Will you allow yourselves in whatever field you've chosen to connect with humanity? And will you allow yourself through the power of your art, through your creativity, through your innovation, to actually make this a better world? Thank you very much, and I'm out, y'all.